Hello everybody, well I'm inside Caravan again doing a few little odd jobs before our next trip away, and one thing I wanted to do since we got the Caravan is to change some of the bulbs because they give off this terrible bluey light. So I'm in the washroom, if I lean over and switch on, I think you'll be able to pick up that it's quite it's more of a bright white bluey light, and it's not very bright, to be honest. When we're in the shower we have to turn on, I don't know if you can quite see it, yes you can see it in there. We put this shower light on, you can see that's a much warmer white light than the main one, and also the light over the kitchen area is this horrible cold bluey white light. So I've been on Amazon and I've got some replacements, so I'm just going to change the lights in here. It takes two, and I'm also going to change the bulbs in all the other ceiling lights, so that'll be 6 bulbs in total. These are the little LED bulbs that I've bought. Now they're G4 bulbs. You can buy them in this round shape, or you can buy them a little sort of oblong shaped ones. So I went for the round one. You can see the back is exposed, a little bit of a circuit board there. I checked the dimensions and they were about the same size as the ones I'm about to replace. Now, sod's law, these particular ones come in packs of 5 and I really needed 6. You can get some in packs of 6, but one of the reviews, or several of the reviews, said they run very hot, so I decided not to go for those. So I had to buy 2 packs of 5. So I'll be replacing 6. So I'll have 4 spare, so I'll keep those in the drawer down here in the Caravan with the small amount of tools and odds and sods that we keep inside the Caravan. So I now need to fit these new ones, and I did specifically choose the warm white. Apart from the quality of the light, I'm hoping these will be a bit brighter than the ones I'm replacing. Okay, so for this type of light there are 3 screws I need to undo to remove the cover. Make sure I don't drop them. There we go. So at this stage, if the cover there it is, if that's covered in dust, this is the best time you can give it a bit of a wash in some warm soapy water and give it dry. Give it a dry, of course, before you put it back. So we can see there are 2 of these bulbs. They just pull out of the fitting, and you can see these are a bit different. There are more LEDs on these than there are on the ones I'm replacing, and the backs are enclosed, but as I said, I don't like the bluey white light these give off. I prefer the warm white light. It makes the Caravan more cozy. So it's just a case of inserting the new bulbs into the sockets. And obviously before you do this, make sure that the master switch is off on the Caravan. So I just need to line up the pins with the holes. That's one. And again the other side. I think this Caravan, well, Caravan is the name of the Caravan. I think this Caravan, I think it's a 2007 model. So I don't think this would have had LED bulbs when it was first manufactured. So I think the previous owners put some LEDs in. I've had a look at the front lights as well, the ones that are either side of the end overhead lockers, and they seem to have LEDs, and I can't see a way of replacing those, but they're fine because they're pretty bright and they're also a warm white, so they're fine. So I'm going to not try and play with those, I'll leave those. So I'm just going to replace the other 2 ceiling lights in the Caravan exactly the same way as I've done these, so they'll all be new and they'll all be the same, hopefully bright warm white. Okay then, here goes. I now declare these lights on. Wow. Ooh. Dear, the camera didn't like that. It looked very bright at the beginning and now it's gone there. But that is, wow, that's a lot better. Much brighter in here. It's hard to tell, obviously I'm doing this in daylight, but That's gone funny, hasn't it? Wow. Bit out of focus there, folks. The camera doesn't like that. There we are. I'll do it once more for you. You can see that. But that, yes, that is much, much better. So I'm going to replace the other two now, and then I've got a few other odd jobs to do inside the Caravan. And I've just noticed that this one only has one bulb in it anyway, so that's going to make a big difference. Hopefully the other bulb holder isn't faulty. So I didn't realise that only had one in. I've never had that off. So they come in little packets, these, which are hard to open without a pair of scissors. So I have a pair of scissors somewhere in the Caravan. Yes, here we go. Right, so I'll pop these two in, and then I've just got one more fitting to do, the one that's over the lounge area. I'm just going to hope that both of these work actually. I had no idea that one was missing. It's a very simple job to do. Make sure you get the pins in correctly. There we are, just give that a test now. Oh yes, that's much better. Now, some of you may remember that when we arrived at the site in the Peak District, I found a nut and bolt on the carpet in the kitchen area, and we couldn't think where it was from, so we just put it in the drawer and hoped we'd find out later. Well, we did find out it was actually from the ceiling fan. So obviously the journey had worked the nut and bolt loose, and we didn't bother fixing it at the time because it was cold and we didn't have the fan on, even though I said to Mark, well, we should have the fan on when we're cooking, really, especially when we're using the hob. But anyway, we certainly will be using the fan. It wasn't actually working when we got the Caravan. We had to go back for them to fix the fan. But when they fixed the fan, I noticed that the washroom door was actually rubbing on the casing around the fan, and it was stopping the door from opening. So they obviously hadn't put the casing back properly, because it never used to rub before the fan was fixed. So to fix the fan, I had to undo the 2 screws here so I could remove the surround, and then I had to undo 4 more screws to remove this mesh grill. And that's something, if you want to give it a good clean, that's the best way of doing it. Obviously it wasn't very dirty, but I gave it a clean anyway. And then it was just a case of putting the fan back and securing the washer and the nut. But I think I got the fan round the wrong way. It's quite easy to do. So to check that it's round the correct way, obviously you have to turn it on, and once it's on the setting where you've got the little arrow pointing into the Caravan, obviously that means it's sucking air from outside, so you should feel the air blowing in if you've got the fan round the correct way. And obviously when you press the arrow pointing outwards, that means it's sucking the air out, or any cooking smells or steam. It seemed to be working. I just used a very light piece of paper just to make sure it was sticking to the fan, so I know that the fan is secure and in place. Another thing I did when the surround was off, I cleaned the little blackout blind. I just used one of those surface wipes just to wipe off any dirt, and I left it in the closed position, made sure it was, you know, completely dry before opening it out again. And then I fitted it correctly. It wasn't fitted correctly at this side. It was just, well, it wasn't done very well. It was a bit fiddly to do, but there were some lugs on the inside of the frame that match up with some lugs on the frame that's actually secured to the ceiling. So it took a while just to make sure it was in properly, but it's certainly smoother. Now the door does rub slightly, but it just skims across the top. I'm not sure if that's because the Caravan isn't quite level. That might make a difference, but before the door just stopped about here because this was, you know, standing much lower. It was it wasn't fitted properly basically. So anyway, I know I've done it properly now, but it's slightly rubbing, but it's not as bad as it was. So that's a nice little job. Hopefully it'll stay in place, but if the screws come out again, well, at least I'll know that they're from the fan. I'll have to tighten the screw and the nut, well, the nut, and put the washer back. Just tighten it a bit more, but I think I've tightened it fairly well and it should be working. It's quite noisy. If I switch on the master, there we go. That's just on low, but it does get quite noisy when you turn up the power. On our first 2 trips away in the Caravan, we found it fairly dark, especially in the kitchen area. Obviously now I've replaced the overhead bulbs and now there are 2 instead of 1. It should be brighter in here. We have 2 other lights, of course, apart from the overhead light. There's one over the sink and there's one here, and these are nice for mood lighting. If you're watching the TV in the lounge area and you want a little bit of light, these are ideal. They just provide a nice glow. But sometimes getting in the cupboard under the sink, you can hardly see anything. It's a bit dark and I had to get a little torch out to find stuff. But as I said, hopefully it'll be a lot brighter with the new bulbs in. But I've had these ages. These are little cupboard lights, battery operated cupboard lights from IKEA. Now I'm going to try and fit this small one in the cupboard under the sink. I've got another small one as well, but I don't think I'll use it inside the Caravan unless, well, I could put it in the cupboard under the sink in the washroom, I suppose. And then I've got this bigger one which I intend to fit inside the wardrobe in the washroom, just to give a bit of extra light when you open the door, because these are battery operated, and in theory, if they're working properly, they'll come on automatically when you open the door, or you can set them to off or set them to permanently on. Auto setting should enable you to just be able to open the door and the light should come on. I have these inside the house in my bedroom. They don't always work very well. They don't always automatically sense when you've opened the door, certainly not in my bedroom, but they might work better in the Caravan. But I normally can just turn them on using the little switch there. So I just plan to fit at least 2, this one in the washroom and the smaller one, if there's somewhere to screw it, I'm not sure yet. If I can fit the smaller one in the cupboard under the sink, it would make it handy to find things when it's a bit dark. So that's the next job. Now I plan to fit the larger light, if I can show you. So I'm going to actually screw it. Now they're only small screws. You must check you're not screwing into the outer wall of the Caravan, but I'm just going to screw it to the inner part of this panel here, and I've checked the screws. They're not going to actually poke through because that would look awful. So basically I'm going to put the light this way up with these 2 brackets where the screws are, these 2 removable brackets, so it's easy to take the light off. The brackets stay in place if you need to take the light down to replace the batteries. So I'm going to fit it about there in the middle. The little sensor is just there, those 2 holes. So hopefully when that's fitted above there and it's got batteries in, when I open the doors the light should come on. Well, that was a fairly quick job. I've fitted it. It's not going to make much of a difference. It's on now. Obviously it's a bright day and it's pretty light in the washroom, but it will make a difference when at night, obviously, and when it's darker. I can't get the auto function to work, but I think it's just too light. I'm not really sure, but if it doesn't work, at least I can switch it on manually. But on auto it just stays on. It doesn't go off, so I don't know if that's anything to do with the ambient light. But anyway, it's fitted. There's extra light inside the wardrobe. Well, I'm in the wardrobe. I'll show you this additional purchase that I made after our last trip. On our first 2 trips away, I noticed we had nowhere to put our dirty washing apart from an old carrier bag. I know some larger modern caravans have a built-in linen basket, but this is an old, smaller van and we don't have such modern facilities. So I saw this. This is a fold-up linen basket by Brabantia, I think that's pronounced. So it folds flat, so it lives in the bottom of the wardrobe, and this is going to go probably in the awning, and it folds open. You've got a plastic base to stiffen the bottom of it, like that. So now, by folding over the top, you have a handy linen basket, or possibly, if you want, a portable toilet, but I don't think that would take the weight of me, and probably not best to do your business in there. So this is really what it's for. It's for your linens that are dirty. So I thought that was quite a good little extra thing to buy. You'll notice we're new to caravanning and we bought loads of stuff. There's a video I showed you everything we bought so far, and when you're new you don't really know what you're going to need. You know the basics, but there are some things you only discover you need after you've been caravanning, and also you'll find that some things you have bought that you don't really need. So I think our next trip out we will have more or less everything we need, and everything we don't need we won't be bringing along with us. But I just thought, when I saw that, I thought that's ideal. And of course now we've got the awning, we've got extra space, we can actually put this just outside if we've got any dirty smelly pants or whatever we don't want in the caravan. And then of course at the end of the trip we can just take all our dirty washing to the washing machine at home and pop it in there. So I thought that's something interesting to show you. That's the make, famous for their bins, Brabantia, I think that's pronounced. Now obviously what I'm going to show you here isn't an essential for most caravanners, and in fact we won't be taking it on our trip. It's far bigger than I thought it would be. It just about fits on top of the cooker, and it does actually go over the sink when the sink's got the lid down, but it's not level. Yes, it is a dishwasher. Can you believe it? A 4-place setting dishwasher. It also comes with a bowl so you can wash your fruits and veg in it. Now I bought this jokingly thinking I might use it in the caravan, but I thought I wouldn't. It's bigger than a microwave and it's pretty heavy. But I'm going to make another video of this on my main channel. This is what I bought it. I've always been intrigued by these miniature dishwashers and I just wanted to try it out. But for use in a 2-berth caravan, it's far too big. If you've got a big caravan and you've got extra worktop space and you don't like washing up by hand, then, you know, if you want to really be indulgent, you could bring along your own dishwasher, but obviously it's completely overkill for 2 adult males with not a lot of washing up to do. But I might do a demo in the caravan to show it actually does work. It will work in the caravan, obviously only when you connect it up to the mains hookup. You don't even have to have it connected to the tap because you fill it from the top. There's a little opening at the top. You pour the water in. I can't remember how much it is. I think it's about 4 litres of water. So you just pour all the water in at the start of the program, put the dirty dishes in. The dishwasher tablet just goes in a little hole in the door, and then you select the program, and then it takes all the water for the washes and the washing and the rinses, and then it dries. It does work surprisingly well. I've used it inside the house, but yeah, it's just in here because I didn't find anywhere to put it indoors. If you want to see a full review of this, I'll be putting this on my main channel, which mainly deals with vacuum cleaners and other floor care, but I do the odd dishwasher and washing machine. So that's the Cookology compact dishwasher. Not a necessity for most caravanners. Well, that's about it for this update video. I'm going to fit this smaller light into the cupboard under the sink to give us a bit of extra light when we open the door. And then I'm just going to give the caravan a good clean. I've taken everything out, all the dishes, the soft furnishings, the covers for the sofa, the duvet covers, etc. they've all been washed, ready to be packed back into the bags and stored underneath the sofas for our next trip. I've also got a dedicated, now a lot of you know me from my other channel, so I do have a lot of vacuum cleaners, and I didn't need to buy another vacuum cleaner, but I wanted to have a dedicated vacuum cleaner just for the Caravan that would be kept in the Caravan. And I went for a Dyson, and it's the V7 Trigger. It doesn't have the pole, it's just basically the handheld with a motorized nozzle plus a crevice tool and a combination nozzle. The reason I went for just this is because when it's out of the box it will fit in one of the overhead lockers, and I also bought an adapter so I can actually charge this either from the cigarette lighter socket in the car, or this Caravan actually has a cigarette lighter socket as well next to the TV point, so I can charge it inside the Caravan. So that was one reason I went for the Dyson, because I can charge it via a mains 3-pin socket with the adapter, or charge it with the cigarette lighter socket. So again, I'll be making a separate video of this on my main channel, iBasy-ick, which stands for It Beats As It Sweeps As It Cleans. Well, that's it for today's video. If you liked it, please give me a thumb up. If you hated it, please give me a thumbs down. But if you did like it and you don't subscribe, please click the subscribe button and the bell icon, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. It won't be all Caravan stuff. I'm not a caravanning channel, but hopefully there will be more Caravan videos to come, especially now we are allowed to go out in the Caravan. Hopefully that will continue. Now obviously some sites aren't opening their facilities, the washrooms won't be open, the showers won't be open, the laundry won't be open, but we've only been away twice, we've never had the need to use any facility apart from, obviously we have the full hookup, the clean water, the electric, the drain, and obviously there is somewhere to empty the toilet cassette. That's all we need. We're quite happy using our onboard facilities. The shower works very well. If you time it correctly, you can have a good shower. We're very happy with the heating, hot water, everything in this Caravan is ideal, which is self-contained, which is at the moment is what you need. We don't have to use facilities, we never have done, and it's unlikely we will. Why some caravanners I know don't like to use their toilet or shower, but they might be forced to if the on-site facilities aren't open. And really there's nothing to be afraid of. If you've got a Caravan with a washroom, use it, because that's what it's there for. It's designed so you can be all self-contained. That's why I love caravanning, because you're bringing everything, including the kitchen sink, with you. You're not using toilets that other people have sat on. You're not going into a shower that other people have been in. You're using your own crockery, using your own bedding. So that's the main advantage for me, caravanning. You're taking all your familiar things with you, but you're experiencing new things. You're going to new places. You're getting out for walks with the dogs, and then you're coming back to your own little home from home, which, you know, I'm smiling just thinking about it. Just coming into the Caravan, doing these odd jobs, this really makes my heart glow. I just absolutely love it. It's taken many years for us to get a Caravan. I've always been interested in having a Caravan, the concept of caravanning, and finally last year we took the plunge and bought this second-hand Coachman, and so far we've been very happy with it. So that is really it for today's video. I'll see you all very soon for the next one. Bye for now.